we go.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Eric here with Carolina Autos again, and wanted to make a video today. I've been batting around the idea of putting the Camaro on Turo, and even though I'm probably not going to rent it out very much, I just wanted to show you guys kind of how the Turo process works, and what you can kind of expect, and go through some of my experience with the app. I had my Veloster in previously on Turo. I've sold that car since, gotten a Camaro, and we're going to put the V6 1LE Camaro on Turo. So let's go get it washed. We'll take some pretty good pictures, and I'll show you all of that. I'll set my computer up to record the screen and everything. And just wanted to show you guys kind of how the back end of the Turo app works. Talk a little bit about pricing, because pricing is pretty important to set, you know, the kind of customers you want to rent your car, how often you want to rent your car. And there's a couple things about it that you need to think about while you're listing potentially your car on Turo. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you. All right, guys, so one of the most important parts of putting your car on Turo is getting some good pictures. So I came out here, this parking lot, just to snap some good pictures here in the sun. Forgot to mention earlier, y'all root for the Packers tonight against the Rams. Big game, big playoff game. Okay, so got home, got logged into my computer. Everybody opened up the Turo website here, and you can see I'm logged into my profile and everything. And we're going to go to list your car. Get started. And I think I'd already started this process with mine. Let's make sure everything looks good. I'll redact some of this with some of my personal information on there. Yep, 2020 Camaro, that's the right VIN. Make sure all the trim is set correctly. And Turo will ask you some questions here to help you kind of set the pricing and set the availability, things like that. So we'll set as often as possible. That'll probably set it up to do things. Let me get my license plate information off of this picture. Where is it? HCM 7296. And that is North Carolina. Car features. So we've got aux input, keyless entry, USB charger, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay, backup camera, Bluetooth, sunroof, USB input, no child seat, no heated seats, I don't have the toll fast, not pet friendly, do not want dogs in the car. So we'll want to type up a description, and this is just the vehicle description. So it doesn't have to be extremely detailed, but you kind of want to, with this description, just generate some excitement. So and you know, maybe explain to potential renters why is your car different than another car they might rent. Alright, so that should be, it says try for 100. You don't need to pay attention to that. You just want to get across the point of why you're renting a car, what makes your car different, what people should be excited about when they rent it. So that's good. Now I've got the photos downloaded onto my desktop here, so this should pop up. Let's find them all. Hopefully it'll open all of them at once, so hopefully I don't have to pick through here. Alright, and we'll pick the best one out of the bunch That's not too bad of a starter one, but I think I had one from the other side that was better. Yes. I think that one. Or maybe this one's a little closer. Or maybe this one with the door open even. And the sunroof open too. That probably, I think we'll go with that. And we'll get some interior pictures moved up here. Alright, so you see just nice clear photos. You just want it to really stand out. Let's just do that one. You want it to really stand out, you know, as people are browsing through the listings, catch people's attention, and then just make sure the car is well documented with the photos inside and out. Didn't really take any pictures of the back seat because it's kind of pointless. Up next, that's just a safety thing about being a host. I know all this because I've hosted people in the Veloster. Alright, so the listing is live. We'll go over here to finish your listing. And this should be where we set actually, let's see here. Let's just go to vehicles and see where it is. Alright, there it is. So we're going to edit the listing and go through some of this pricing and things. Alright, so automatic pricing will help you kind of list your car, and you can see on the calendar it's going for lower rates on days that are, sorry, my software that I'm using to record for some reason stopped. So anyway, so what this does is the automatic pricing will try to get you the best pricing kind of on the weekends and around holidays, things where it's more likely to rent, and get you a lower rate in there and try to maybe get the car rented out on days that that it would be less likely to rent. I used it for a little bit with my Veloster, but it really didn't know how to price the Veloster right, so I ended up just manually doing it. And I'm actually going to manually set this here, and we're going to go with $110 a day. So the 110 will probably keep some people away, like the car wouldn't rent as much as it otherwise would, which is fine with me. I don't want to rent it necessarily all the time. If it starts renting well, maybe I'll set it to rent more often, and maybe I'll even potentially buy a second car. I've thought about getting one of the Veloster N DCT cars just to rent out on Turo, basically. The automatics do much better, obviously, renting, because our generation most people don't drive manuals anymore, and in fact my Veloster was mainly rented by older people, mainly in their 50s and 60s. In fact, I only had one guy who was kind of my age, around the age of 30, that rented the Veloster the whole time it was rented out, and I rented it like 9-10 different times. So but I'm going to set that price a little high because I want to attract people that really want to enjoy the car, spend time in the car. And the way I'll set that is I give them some perks back. So I'll add a few miles in there. I try not to charge people extra for little things that they might want, you know. I always include the radar detector for them. So that's how I justify the higher price. Plus, Turo is set up really well for non-performance cars. It's set to someone who has like a Hyundai Elantra or something like that, and they just want to rent it out as much as possible. They don't really care how many miles are going on it, or they don't have to care about tire wear as much as I do with this car. There's just a lot of factors when you're renting something with performance tires on it that people potentially could abuse. You just need to factor that into your decision to both list it and rent it out. And then Turo is going to take a certain cut of this depending on what insurance you pick, and we'll go through that as well. Alright, so you can put some discounts in here for longer trips. I am going to knock these down a little bit. So it's always nicer to rent out, you know, if you do 7 days straight. You know, that's just, it helps. It's less hassle. It rents the car out more. You make more money off of that transaction, generally. So you could throw people a little bit of a discount to encourage them to rent the car a little bit longer. So you can balance your pricing out, and when we get to the insurance and everything, I will pick I might go back and actually change this price up a little bit, but we'll see. So we'll save these changes. Location and delivery, I'm not going to change any of this. I used to have it set to where I would deliver the car to the airport, but that can be a bit of a hassle in the middle of a day, and I'm working so much lately that I'm just not going to be doing that. Guest instructions, I'll fill all this stuff out off cam. The main thing I wanted to show you guys is just the pictures and getting it listed, and then once the car starts to book, I'll document that stuff as well and show you what you can earn and things like that. Alright, so all the details we set up before, and Turo, the app, automatically fills in some of the details like fuel economy and things like that. Distance included, you want to make sure you include your set your distance right. I'm going to keep it at pretty low because I don't want people racking up a ton of miles. And then if they go past the included miles, it'll charge them based on a percentage of your daily price that you put in there. So you can make that go up, make it go down. I might increase it. It just depends. I'm going to let it rent a few times and get comfortable with the car being rented out before I start toggling around with too much of this stuff. Vehicle protection. So there are several different plans here, and there's risks and rewards on both sides of each of these plans. So the 60%, this gives you a zero deductible. You get 60% of the trip earnings. They will replace your vehicle in the event that it is damaged and loss of hosting income. They will actually pay you based on your average hosting income per week if the car is damaged and down, you know, for repairs or something like that. And I think this liability coverage is always $750,000. Let's just check that real quick. Yes. So you see the main thing that goes up is the deductible with each percentage, and only on the 60% plan do you get the loss of host income protection and the exterior wear and tear. Now my car unfortunately got pummeled by acorns, so I'm really not that concerned too much about the outside. I know it's going to get scratches. I drive it every day. The car sits outside and gets dirty anyway, so I'm not too terribly concerned about it. But for that 10% to have no deductible, and they'll give me a replacement vehicle if it's damaged and down, I might just keep it at 60. Kind of see how I'm happy with that, and then reduce over time, maybe as it gets rented out more and gets more miles on it, and I kind of care about the car a little less. Or if I get a secondary vehicle and it's not going to bother me to not have a vehicle if something does happen to it, and you know, we go through an insurance claim or something through Turo. So hopefully nothing happens, but I'm going to keep it on that 60 for now, just in case. It's peace of mind. You know, I'm not a big renter yet anyway, so I would rather have the protection, rather mitigate the risk, push the risk off on Turo, and take less of the earnings for myself. So we'll choose that plan. Trip history, obviously no trip history. Trip preferences, I'm not sure what's in here. I don't know that I want people able to book instantly. I want 1 day notice, just because that's my only car right now. Once I get a second car, that's fine. I'll turn the book instantly back on. And these buffers, they want you to take a course. I always set my shortest trip to 2 days. Just, you know, it's kind of a hassle to have somebody pick it up and drop it off a few hours from each other. You end up having to take a bunch of pictures and things like that. And I will consider long-term trips. If somebody wants to rent the thing for a month or something, and it starts renting well, I'll be fine with people renting it that long. I'll just change some settings, obviously, before I do that. Okay, so that is how to go through, get your car listed on Turo. And I will give you guys an update on how the car is performing. I'll show you really transparently what I make on each transaction. We'll see how well it rents on the site. We might have to play around with the pricing a little bit. And once it does start renting, I'll just make maybe, you know, a video every week or two, probably 2 weeks. Every week's probably a bit much. Maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, we'll give you an update on how the Camaro's been renting. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will keep this kind of going as a series. So be looking for the updates, and I'll also probably just record some of the transactions on the app as well. You know, when someone books the car, what do you need to do? What do you need to make sure is happening? How clean do you need to keep the car? Things like that, especially with coronavirus going on. People appreciate you going the extra mile, wiping the car down, you know, wiping the door handles thoroughly. Just keeping everything in the car neat, presentable, and ready to kind of go every time. And there's some things that we can add on here, extras. We'll go through all of that in a separate video. You can add in like buying the tank of fuel, or adding in a car wash, or, you know, whatever extras some people might want. If they're going to the beach, maybe you can provide them with beach chairs, and you can charge for all that separately right here in the Turo app. So we'll go through some of those things once the car starts renting. For now, we're just going to let it sit on there. We'll see what happens, see who reaches out. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this has been educational and informational for everybody. If there's anything you want me to record or go look into or explain for you, like I said, I've got my previous history with the Veloster, so I know this site pretty well. The Veloster rented out great. I never had any problems. Nobody ever abused the car or anything. Just great experiences all around. I got good reviews. Gave all of the people who rented from me great reviews. So we will see if we have the same experience with the Camaro. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next update.